Star Wars, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The Sound of Music. In the tradition of these great films about fighting back against the odds, 20th Century Fox presents another milestone in motion picture history. Revenge of the Nerds.
Nerds!
Nerds?
Nerds.
Nerds!
What is a nerd?
They've been laughed at, picked on,
There's a roommate, pal!
and put down.
I'm not kissing a nerd.
They don't have the moves or the muscle,
You know karate?
No.
Good.
but they've got the brains.
I know what we're gonna do.
It's time for the odd to get even.
Their action tonight demands an immediate retaliation.
How many cameras do we have left?
This should do it.
Oh, here she comes.
Go up, go up.
Oh, no.
That nerd saw me naked!
Nerds!
Are all nerds as good as you?
Revenge of the Nerds. Their time has come.
I drink to that.
And welcome back to the Movie Hero Network, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wheel of Movies, episode number 63. And tonight we are discussing Revenge of the Nerds in honor of the late, great Robert Carradine. I am Austin Pezhel, your host, as always, here on Wheel of Movies. And with me, as always, my co-host, Richie Goodacre. How's it going, Richie?
Yeah, no, going good. It's another tribute episode. But hopefully this will be, last one for a while. I do keep saying that. Maybe I should stop saying something, and then I won't think.
Look, it is what it is. We can knock on wood all we want to. People are not going to get any younger, or have things happen. So it just is what it is,
Yeah. Just, just I don't know. We have a knack for doing tribute episodes, and something happens. Like, oh, okay, life. Calm down for a bit. I wonder. It's called Wheel of Movies. You've got to spin a wheel at some point.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, but it's what we do here. I mean, again, this is the format where we do have the time, and we can pick something specific to the person who has departed from us. Unfortunately, this time it was Robert Carradine. Big shock to me because this is one of my favorite comedies of all time. Easily like kind of a top 3 comedy ever. I owned this one on VHS growing up. Watched it a whole lot. My dad introduced me to it. Thought I would like it because, let's face it, I am a nerd. I was a nerd. Will always be a nerd. So I've always had a nice connection to this movie. I was lucky enough a few years ago in 2023 that I went to a convention that had a minor Revenge of the Nerds reunion. So I got to meet 4 of the cast members, including Robert Carradine before he passed away. I got to meet Robert Carradine, Brian Tochi, who plays Takashi, Curtis Armstrong, who plays Booger, and Donald Gibb, who plays Ogre. So I got a chance to meet all of them. So that was pretty cool for what it was. I mean, one of my favorites of all time I've always had a connection to. Richie, what's your history with this movie? Have you seen it before, or how many times?
My dad had it at the video store. I probably, I watched it way before I probably should have. I had fun with it. I think I watched this and watched the second one. Not as good, but I thought it was fun. But I hadn't watched it since then. So I probably maybe watched. I feel like I watched maybe the for the first time in like 99, 2000, something like that. So it's been a while. It's been a long time.
It's a fun one. Yeah, no, it's a good one. Great kind of college comedy, 80s comedy, has a lot of the things that go along with that. We'll kind of get into the whole thing. And just talking about Robert Carradine, who unfortunately I believe had some kind of illness or condition, and he ended up making the choice to take his own life. So always kind of a sad condition, but he was in his 70s, I believe he was 71. But yeah, seemed nice when I met him, but kind of shy, not as talkative as some of the other people. But although he did always put on a good show and told great stories in the Q&A, I was able to go to the Q&A and kind of hear some stories and ask him a few questions myself. So that was cool. Brian Tochi was very cool. Probably the most kind of outgoing and loudest of the group, but in a good way. Curtis Armstrong also very kind of quiet and shy, and Donald Gibb was a big old weird dude, but he was cool. It was over. So I ended up getting a print. They had some poster prints, always at sale at the convention. So got all four of them to kind of sign and put some quotes on my poster. And this one came with a little kind of sort of laminated cover. So I will keep that and value that as well. And then I did get an 8x10 as well. Had to go back the next day and get an 8x10 of Donald Gibb in Bloodsport, because he's the big biker, friend of Van Damme at Bloodsport, and I love Bloodsport as well. So I ended up going back and getting an 8x10 of him at Bloodsport because I did that movie also.
It'd be funny if we
I think we lost Richie for a second. He's probably gonna say it'd be funny if we spun Bloodsport and got to talk about this movie as well, because I think that is also on the wheel, for what it is. So hopefully we'll get Richie back in a second. He sometimes has little fritzes with the internet, so hopefully he'll catch up with us just a second. But until then, I'll give you a couple of facts about the movie. Revenge of the Nerds released July 20th, 1984, directed by Jeff Kanu, who was back. We lost him completely. Hopefully, we'll get him back. But directed by Jeff Kanu, who didn't have really a super large career. He was kind of an editor before he became a director, and then he directed, a few little projects here and there. He directed Troop Beverly Hills, V.I. Warshawski, National Lampoon's Adam and Eve, kind of a direct-to-video movie. I think we got Richie back.
yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. So it's okay. I was just going over a few of the facts of the movie. Talking about Jeff Kanu, the director, who not a super well-known director. He did a few noteworthy movies, but not a huge big career. A few people kind of had careers after this. One of the more noteworthy ones, actually, Richie, is the score of the movie, the kind of computer sort of type score. Yeah, Thomas Newman, who is quite a famous guy for doing scores, who has had a hell of a career, actually. He did probably most noteworthy a lot of his stuff that he would go on to do in the 90s, i.e. stuff like The Shawshank Redemption, Scent of a Woman. He did Little Women, the 90s one, Phenomenon, Meet Joe Black, The Green Mile, American Beauty, a movie I just watched, Aaron Brockovich, which I've never seen. He does that one. Road to Perdition, Finding Nemo, Cinderella Man. I mean, the list goes on and on. Wall-E. Just Skyfall, Saving Mr. Banks. Obviously still very much working to this day and still doing all that stuff. So you got Thomas Newman. This is one of his early movies, Richie.
Yeah, that stuck out to me. I'm like, the fuck? Okay.
Actually, yeah, it's not his actual first movie, but his first year in Hollywood is 84 with Revenge of the Nerds, a movie called Reckless, and Grandview, USA. So this is one of his, literally his first year movies. So that's pretty cool. Which I don't know how I never noticed that in the credits, but I picked up on it this time. I was kind of paying a little more attention via Thomas Newman doing the score here. So that's pretty cool.
What I was saying before is it'd be funny if we spun before it got cut off, before it glitched out. I was going to say it would be fun if we spun Bloodsport next time.
I talked about that. I figured that's where you're going. Yeah, talking about Bloodsport, and I can talk about Donald Gibbs some more. And I know it's on the wheel because it's in my 128, and I'm sure it's on there at least more than once. I think Zach Sheldon's a big fan too, so it's got to be on there at least twice. So there's always a possibility we can spin Bloodsport. That's a fun movie to talk about. I can definitely do that.
Another name that stuck out just because it's got a cool name and it reminded me of wrestling. I think the director of photography is a guy named King Baron.
King Baggett or something like that is what it says on Wiki. Yeah, but he you can't click on his name, so I don't think he has like a super career. This might be like a one and done sort of situation. But yeah, that sounded interesting. But yeah, I mean, a few other people besides Robert Carradine, obviously Anthony Edwards, who would go on to be a big star. 2 years later he gets Top Gun, and starts starring in movies. And then in the '90s he was known as one of the primary players on ER. I don't know if you're as familiar with ER over there, Richie. But yeah, that was the medical show, the big medical show of the '90s that George Clooney got to start on. So he was on there as well.
They've just over here. They just added a whole bunch of the seasons on Netflix. But yeah, I knew when I was around.
No, Anthony Edwards, was one of the primary kind of first cast guys on ER, so he went on to do that, and still working to this day, still very much a working actor. Ted McGinley, this is one of his first movies and one of his first projects, who would go on to be mostly in TV shows, but I think he's kind of best known for Married with Children. If you've seen Married with Children, he was Jefferson Darcy on there, and he's very funny on that show, and of course has been in a ton of TV shows, a bunch of movies and whatnot. So he went on to have very, very prominent working actor career, still working to this day, even as recently as Shrinking. He's a main role on that show with Jason Segel. So still working right now. And yeah, even some of the other minor character actors, you have Bernie Casey, who plays Ewan Jefferson, who you might also recognize from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He's the Mr. Ryan, the history teacher in that movie. He was a football player for 8 years, NFL over here, and then went on to be in a bunch of movies as well, kind of a character actor. You've got there's a guy who's getting in a little trouble recently in this movie. Timothy Busfield's had a few issues. Issues in the news. He's in a bunch of movies. He's let's just say just look up Timothy Busfield in the news recently. You'll see some maybe not so savory things that's going on with him right now. Larry B. Scott, a very prominent character actor. He was also had a very brief role in The Karate Kid the same year. He's kind of a minor part as a Cobra Kai guy in that one, but he's been in a ton of stuff. Very recognizable guy. You got Julie Montgomery, who went on to have some roles after this. Brian Tochi has had a career not only as like a voiceover guy, but he actually is in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. He's the physical person inside the Leonardo outfit, if you didn't know. So he's physically in those movies. So if he's at a convention, he'll have a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff up there, and then he's done a ton of little parts in movies throughout the year. So he's been on a bunch of stuff, Star Trek and Twilight Zone, all kinds of things. And then Curtis Armstrong, of course, who I've joked on Tournament Fights is in like every other '80s comedy that came out in the '80s. I went on a run, Richie, of like. I inadvertently saw like 3 of his movies in a row because I had watched like Risky Business for the first time, and he's in that. Then I ended up watching Through Circumstances Better Off Dead with John Cusack. He's in that movie. So he popped up a lot, in kind of those '80s comedies, around that time. So, and then we talked about him on Jingle All the Way, if you remember. He's briefly in the Booster outfit right there in that scene. So, but yeah, he's done a whole bunch of stuff. So he's a very prominent working actor as well. So, and of course, we can't forget 2 other people who go on to have very, very prominent careers. James Cromwell, billed in this movie as Jamie Cromwell. This is a very early movie of his. And James Cromwell, he's, too many to mention, but very, very prominent, character actor, and a very young John Goodman in this movie, one of his first movies here, who I think, for my money, man, steals every scene he's in. He's great here as the coach. He's so good.
Mm-hmm. It's a stacked cast, and but I always enjoyed Curtis Armstrong showing up stuff. Especially, I was always paying attention to what shirt he was wearing in this. So he always had like a different, he had I think the first one is like Head Till I'm Dead, or
Give me Head Till I'm Dead. Yeah,
dead. But and he has some good lines in it.
I even forgot to mention, I didn't realize it at the time till I looked him up. There's an actor named Matt Salinger who's in this movie. He plays Burke, one of the other kind of primary jocks. The other guy who's like the nerds are over 2,000. Like that. He's kind of one of the other primary guys. He went on to play Captain America in the 1990 Captain America film. So if you've ever seen that really low budget Captain America movie, I've seen it. It's been a long time. But there was a movie they made in 1990.
There was a low, but wasn't there also? Yeah, there was that. I remember renting out the video shop store, and I also rented out. Was it? Am I remembering things wrong? Was there also a low budget Flash movie around that the same?
There was a TV show of the Flash around the same time. Yeah.
I might have rented a season of that, but I remember watching the low budget Captain America as well. It was what it was.
Yeah, it was what it was, but they brought the guy back to have a little role in the CW Flash series. So that was kind of cool. It's kind of a tribute to him. And Mark Hamill made his first couple appearances as a trickster on that show. So his first kind of comic booky stuff before he played the Joker. He was the trickster on there. So a few noteworthy things came out of that. But yeah, I mean, when you go to actually research the cast, like everybody went on to have kind of interesting careers. So it's cool stuff there. A few things about the movie. I'll do the box office, then we'll kind of get into it. So the movie was filmed, I should say box office of, I couldn't find an exact number, between $6 and $8 million, but a box office of $40 million worldwide. So it did turn a profit. So profitable comedy there.
That's why they made 4 of these, 5 of these.
There are 4 of these movies, and I have the box set right here. Yes, the Atomic Emoji Collection. The first 2 were theatrically released. Parts 3 and 4 were TV movies, so just straight to TV. And you can tell when you watch them because literally, like, they had those spots when you're watching the movie where, like, this would insert commercial break here, like you can definitely tell, like, this is where the commercial break goes, when you watch it. But they're not as good as the original. They have their moments. Most of them keep the same cast. They have some interesting stuff in there. Not great. The sequel's definitely a step down. 3 and 4 are a step down from that, but there's still some entertainment. I've seen worse movies. They're not bad, for what they are. They're okay.
Because the weirdest thing, when I was looking for this, when I was first looking for it, I used a UK VPN, and it was on, like, they had some on Amazon. They had 2, 3, and 4, but not the original.
Of course. Yeah. I think even 3 and 4 might even be on like YouTube or something. I think I've seen them before, just kind of there, since they're TV movies. They're fairly easy to find. But movies filmed primarily at the University of Arizona campus, and then some indoor stuff shot in some other soundstation locations. But a lot of the campus stuff filmed at the University of Arizona. The movie itself and the title was inspired by a magazine article that came around that time. It was a Silicon Valley kind of expose, and it was called Revenge of the Nerds. The actual article was titled that, about all the nerds in Silicon Valley kind of working with computers and changing technology and whatnot. So the writer of the movie saw that and kind of got inspired by there. A lot of improv throughout the movie. I mean, there was a lot of scripted stuff, but a ton of improv kind of sprinkled within the movie in different sequences. Some of the main ones, all those scenes with Booger and Takashi together. Where they're playing cards. He's teaching them
playing poker, and he's like cheating him out. Like, no, I got a full house. Well, I got 2 7s. So
2 7s beats a frush. I got a 2 and 4 kings. That's good. Yes. No, I got too many kings. No, get rid of those kings and give you 3 fresh cards. So a lot of those sequences, the painting sequence, a lot of that was they just happened to have the 2 bunks together in the gym sequences. So they just started filming like just them doing different things, mostly playing cards or playing other things, and kind of interacting. And they thought they had a good rapport. So they just let them kind of play some scenes here and there and have a little fun with that. The Lambda 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 became a real fraternity in 2006. So there are actual Lambda 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 fraternities. Not a ton of them, but I believe there's like 5 or 6 of them, something like that, around the United States. So it became a real thing, inspired by the movie later on. Let's see. Oh, the actual laugh that Robert Carradine does, that was James Cromwell's laugh when he did the nerd laugh in the car, in one of the opening scenes there. He did that first, and then Robert Carradine liked it so much that he sort of imitated it because it was his dad in the movie, so it makes sense. But yeah, he imitated the laugh, and that kind of became the iconic sort of nerd laugh. Going through that. So, Timothy Busfield, Poindexter, he wears those giant glasses that are like super magnified. You see his eyes like really blown up. He couldn't see a damn thing in those glasses. So all the scenes where he's like walking around just like bumping into things randomly, or he was literally just running into things because he could not see where he was going. And some of the sequences are somebody's literally like just holding his arm or holding his head. That he legit needed that because he couldn't see where he was going, which I think makes it funnier. And also one of the bits about him, he's constantly like playing that violin throughout the movie, and it sounds terrible. Just they told him they were going to dub in an actual violin player, for those sequences to make it sound like saying the violin, but then they just left it as that. That he couldn't play, which I think makes it funnier that he just is constantly practicing but doesn't get any better. So
I think that worked. I think it works that he's not that he's not very good. I don't know.
It works especially when you get to the party sequence, because if he was actually a good violin player, that wouldn't make sense in the party sequence. But the fact that they're trying to come up with things to do at the party and they resort to him just playing his bad violin, makes sense. So that really works. There was a deleted, or at least a filmed scene that's not in the deleted scenes on the DVD because I looked, but Curtis Armstrong claims they filmed a scene with Stan, with the Ted McGinley character, where he's like a secret nerd, which is why he doesn't have a huge reaction at the end, or he's kind of looking sympathetic to the nerds near the end of the movie. If you kind of watch him, that he has some kind of scene to the effect that they're in the frat house and somebody like knocks on the door, is about to come in, and they cut to him and he's quickly takes off a huge pair of glasses and closes a book, that he's actually kind of a secret nerd, in his off time. So it's kind of implied there, but you can kind of feel that maybe he's not like he's protecting what he is, but he's got something inside him that doesn't quite, want to fight it that hard. And he does come back for the fourth movie, I will say, and kind of goes full nerd in the fourth movie. So I'll say that.
Yeah. I do like when they keep it subtle though, where you have to sort of get what reaction creates discussion. So I don't mind that they didn't put that scene in.
So there's a couple of improv things we'll talk about. Some of the sequences, the door sequence with Booger, where he's going back and forth with the guy. What do you want? Well, go away. Not for rent. Fuck off. Like that sequence was completely improvised. The guy at the other end just screwing with Curtis Armstrong, and it ended up making it in the movie. So that was a funny sequence. And for those who wanted to know, the famous Booger burp during the belching contest, the actual burp is a camel burp. They recorded a camel or making these like guttural noises, like kind of these burping guttural noises, and it's an actual recording of a camel. So that's what the actual burp is. But it's a pretty legendary movie burp, though, for sure. One of the great ones of all time. So real quick, we'll do the box office breakdown, and then we'll get into the actual movie. But man, I was stunned, Richie, so this is July of 1984. That if you went to a theater, like let's say a multiplex that had, a couple of 5, 6, 7 screens, whatever, you could potentially watch any combination of some of these movies that we're still talking about to this day, Richie. On any given weekend, you could watch Ghostbusters, Gremlins, The Karate Kid, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, The Muppets Take Manhattan, The Last Starfighter, Star Trek 3, Top Secret, The Neverending Story, Romancing the Stone, Purple Rain, Bachelor Party. I mean, just a crazy lineup of movies that are like still talked about to this day. That's kind of nuts. And
I'm pretty sure pretty much all of them are talked about to this day.
Some to greater degrees than others, but like all movies you've heard of and you like know of, you know what I mean? Like familiar movie. Like that's crazy that throughout the month of July in 1984 you could go to the theater and watch those movies. That's kind of nuts.
That would have been would have been. I'm glad you know, it would have been hard to narrow down a top 10 list that year if I was alive. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff there. So let's get into the movie. So yeah, Revenge of the Nerds. It's your kind of basic college comedy. Lots of college shenanigans and hijinks, but it centers on Lewis and Gilbert, these two guys. Out of high school and in the first year of college. By the way, Robert Carradine was 33 at the time, one of the older cast members of the movie. But he has kind of a baby face, like you can kind of still buy into it. Kind of younger disposition. Anthony Edwards only 22, so he's actually much more realistic with his age in the movie.
Yeah. There's someone who definitely looked older than those two, but we'll get to that person. That I'm supposed to buy as a college person. But yeah, I mean, I figured because this was also, not like insanely removed from like Greece where they're all a lot in their 40s and stuff. So I didn't expect them to be age appropriate necessarily.
Anthony Edwards is the closest, at 22. So that's actually that's like late college age. So that's not too far off. But I will say this: at least they're not playing high schoolers. Essentially. This is a high school movie. If it was a high school movie, it'd be much less realistic. But to say that they're college men, you can buy it enough. This is where we get a little bit of James Cromwell. It's the only kind of we get of him, but he's in these opening scenes as Lewis's dad. Driving them to college while he's got the cruise control set at 35. That's funny. Everybody's honking at him, driving around the side of him. Is a funny little sequence.
He's got it's basically the Griswold Mobile. Looks like the Griswold car.
Yeah, like the station wagon. Yeah, the 80s station wagon. Yeah, that a lot of people had. Kind of back in the day. So they're nervous about going to college, because they know they're nerds, but they it's not high school anymore. We're much more mature now, Richie. We don't pick on people for being nerds anymore, or so they think. So they get there, the first big sequence we see of them kind of being picked on or stood out is the ogre sequence. We're introduced to Ogre, who's yelling nerds while he's holding a guy by his legs over a balcony.
And then he drops them anyway because he gets distracted by them.
Yeah, nerds, nerds, and you just straight tosses him, and dude falls, and you're just like, oh shit, oh my god. But nerds.
But as these movies go, as nerds who are not that self-aware, at least at the beginning, they make themselves a target because instead of they've got these treasure chests. They're carrying around
these giant trunks that they're carrying. Yeah, trying that around. Yeah, instead of just carrying like regular bags or luggage, or whatever. Yeah, they've got this giant trunk, which we find out they've got a robot in there. A robot that we see later in the movie, just this like maid robot that they set up that they just had to bring with them. And by the way, to clean their dorm that is the size of smaller than a hotel room, like not even that big. I don't know how they expect to dirty up that room that fast. But yeah, so we get them. They kind of move in. But the jocks have burned their house down because they're doing Fireball, this crazy sort of vodka. They're doing stupid stuff as the frats do. They're doing stair diving. They're throwing beer everywhere. And then as soon as this dude accidentally, or I don't know if accidentally, because he points right at the sheets, does the fireball right at the drapes, lights it on fire, and boy, that place goes up immediately. Quick little side note about Ogre. If you notice, he's always drinking beer out of his trophy that he's got. I actually asked Donald Gibb about that. I asked some of the crew member or some of the cast members about if they added little character touches, that weren't in the script, and specifically asked Donald about the trophy, and he said, yeah, that's something he came up with for Ogre, that there was a prop trophy, and he just started drinking beer from it, and they kind of kept it in the movie because he does it, throughout the rest of the movie, and I thought it was very funny. But yeah, Booger's t-shirts that he wears throughout the movie, the ridiculous t-shirts, the who farted, give me head till I'm dead, greasy Tonys, all these kind of wacky t-shirts he wears was his idea. He just found the most outrageous shirts he could find at like random, gift shops or whatever, things like that. So yeah, he just found really stupid stuff. So funny things there. But yeah, the jocks burn their frat house down. And yeah, in an astonishing sequence, they run right into the freshman dorms and toss all the freshmen out on their asses. They're just throwing dudes through windows. They're kicking them out. Guys are mid-shower, in their bathrobes, wheeling their shit out as John Goodman is on a bullhorn going, move it, move it, move, 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 move it. So, no, it's a hairy situation, Richie, for these freshmen. These nerds.
yeah. But, there's not really, there's definitely, there's definitely like a hierarchy in this, in this place, and like I don't know, you wouldn't want to, you wouldn't want to be too into being, you wouldn't want to be too into being educated.
No, I mean they're literally called the alpha betas in the movie. You know what I mean? So like they're called the alphas even within their frat house. But they're the jocks and the football players and all that stuff. So the nerds are forced to go live in the gym on these kind of cots and desks that are sort of made up for them in there. And this is where we meet kind of the rest of the crew. We meet Takashi. Sort of the foreign exchange student, Brian Toshi, he's there. Larry Scott is Lamar Luttrell, who, oh my God, Richie, he's gay. That's crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Seems a little outdated now, 40 years later. That's just like his gimmick of the movie. It's like, oh my God, he's gay.
Some great line about was it like that Chris Armstrong had, it was like when he's like, I can't, man, I wish I remembered it.
I mean, I know the lines. Just tell me what scene you're thinking of. Like, tell me what, like,
when they're talking to each other, it's like it's near, like, in a line somewhere, and like they're talking about being like not homophobic, but being, I wish I knew the scene properly. But it made me laugh.
Is it when they're talking about the party and like the dates to the party? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When they're like, did any of you guys, have dates to the party? And he's like, I do. And he's like, yeah, but that's with the guy.
Oh yeah. Yes, that was funny.
And then they asked Booger, what about you? You got it? He's like, I've been out combing the high schools all day.
That's fun. It might have been like it was talking about like I don't know if it's talking about anal sex or something. It was something to do with I can't.
I don't remember seeing anything about that, but I know they're talking about. He's talking to Ewan Jefferson in the scene, where they're meeting with him for the first time about being tri-lambs, and he's like, "Oh, we won't discriminate on, colors or creeds," and he goes, "or sexual orientation." Throws that out there. So, no, I mean, he's very funny in the movie. He commits to it. A lot of his outfits are crazy. The stuff he wears while he's working out, doing the aerobics videos are funny. And then the javelin he throws during the carnival sequence, the like floppy javelin. He decided to match his limp-wristed throwing style. So no, Larry Scott's very funny. He commits to it. Tochi commits to it. We meet Timothy Busfield, who's playing Poindexter. Who's just this, he's got these crazy, giant glasses, and he's bad at the violin. We meet Wormser, who is like literally like the 12-year-old kid who's like already in college.
It's weird. They're like, you see like the mom, dad, like they're like just like they're like, oh, dad's got an appointment. See ya.
Yeah, sorry, son. We have an appointment. We gotta go. All right, bye. They can't wait to get rid of him. So he's there, kind of another one of the sort of odd men out. But because of the situation, they're gonna let him try to pledge fraternities. And Betty Childs, yes, the main sort of sorority girl, they're the pies, and they make jokes out of that on the whole movie.
She looks 45.
She looks a little older, but she's not. Yeah, she was only 24 at the time, so
Maybe it was just like people to age, but yeah,
I think it's just people just back then in these movies just looked a little older, but she's not that far off of college age, so it's not that bad. Yeah, she's the head sorority girl, the cheerleaders and whatnot, head of the pies, and she tells them to go see the alpha betas, and of course, Gilbert's no dummy. He's like, no, those are like the football players. Like, what are you talking about? We're not jocks. And he's, go check it out. Yeah. And this, kind of secret society initiation scene where they go, into this kind of candlelit area, and they have like a sheep there. Ted McGinley gives them used rubbers, which is very funny. He flops them out, and they're already like stretched out, which I thought was funny. And then they strip them down like in the lager. They're like, "Have you ever made love to a woman?" Yes. No. Yes. They're just liar.
Loosely tarred and feathered.
Yeah, they literally get tarred and feathered out of the place. So, I mean, what did they expect? I don't know. Like that's your fault, Lewis, for falling for that nonsense. Lewis is like a smart guy. He's a nerd, but boy, does he fall for a lot of stuff in this movie. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, Richie. This is one of the gripes I've always had with the movie, though. Okay. I'm jumping ahead a little bit to the party scene they have in the house, right? So they're having this party scene, and Gilbert is already kind of dating Judy, right? And Judy's very sweet, and they get along together and all that. So he's found this thing, and Lewis is at this party, and he's talking to the girl with the long ponytail, right? And he's talking to that girl, and like she clearly digs him, right, for who he is. And they're getting along very well, and he does his goofy dancing or whatever, but she's into the nerd, so that's fine. And they kiss, and they even show them going upstairs, to presumably, do some naughty things. And she comes out looking very satisfied. He's wearing like a smoker's jacket, with a pipe, very confident. And then she disappears from the movie. Yeah. And I was like, why not just stay with that girl? Like she's clearly like she's kind of cute. She's into you. Like why not? I never understood that.
Yeah, like does it explain why she disappears? Like why didn't she? Yeah, I don't know. There's like it kind of makes sense for them to both maybe have an equal nerd. Maybe equal nerds. You know what I mean? I don't know. That seems a bit. It did seem a bit weird. It was like okay, well. All right, like cool. I don't know. That was I don't know. That I found that odd as well. I'm like, okay, that was almost out of place because nothing happened. Nothing eventuates after the okay.
No, because he keeps going after Betty throughout the rest of the movie, and him and Betty eventually get together. So I just thought it was odd. Like we never really see her again. I was watching some of the deleted scenes. She's in one of the competitions at the end. You see her briefly. You might see her like in the background here and there, but it's just kind of odd to me that they seem to click, at the party, this kind of other, nerdy girl, because they get with the Omega Moos, and the Omega Moos are kind of, the sorority full.
They're kind of like, I don't know how you describe it. More plain look, more different. The more
it's a collection of regular women. You know what I mean? It's like, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a regular guy. You know what I mean? Like, it's a collection of slightly kind of chubbier women or nerdy women, and whatnot. But you know what? Like some of them are cute, man. Like Booger got into it. Booger's dancing with two of them. He seemed to give it two of them. I wonder if he actually scored with both of them. Actually, the two that he's macking on in that scene. So, hey, and they were down to party, as Booger says, "You moose sure can party." No, I mean, sorry, I jumped ahead a little bit in the movie, but I wanted to point that out. I just thought it was a little odd. But yeah, they fix up this house after they have a montage of looking for places to rent, which it's a funny montage of each of the people. Like, Takashi goes up to a Japanese guy and speaks Japanese, and the other guy just goes, says something in Japanese and just ends it with nerd and then shuts the door on him. Lamar goes up, knocks on the door. There's like a big kind of cowboy redneck guy, drinking a beer. It's just like, oh, Mr. So-and-so. He's like, yeah, just checking. He leaves.
There's a creepy scene where that 12-year-old or whatever knocks on the door, and then there's like that. It's like a 50-something-year-old lady like flirts with him. I'm like, dude, she's like
some big Bertha-looking lady just going like, "Oh yes, your room's right next to mine. It'll be perfect for us." It's very creepy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, oh god. And then it has that door scene that I mentioned earlier with the guy just talking through the little mail slot, which is funny as well. So but yeah, they end up getting kind of a fixer-upper house. They fix it up, they paint it, they do a good job kind of getting it in shape and make it their own kind of frat house, but they're still getting threats and things, rocks getting thrown through windows and stuff getting lit on fire in their in their yard and whatnot. We find out that it's under the jurisdiction of the Greek Council, which is this sort of fraternity and sorority representatives that kind of deal with different issues like that. But wouldn't you know, Stan Gable and those dastardly alpha betas and those pies are running the Greek Council, and they'll just never get anything done as long as those guys are running the organization.
It's a literal comedy of errors. Well, then they're going to be able to, the classic, we're not going to be able to, we're up against it, we're never going to be able to fit in, they're not going to let us fit in, but we're going to fit in under the most wackiest of circumstances as they'll get to in a
well, you had to kind of set up, I mean, we already know, that the alphas and the pies are kind of, kind of running the show. So we've got to defeat them somehow. So we set up this idea that, they have to become a fraternity so they can kind of fight back as a fraternity. And B, that there's this like carnival sort of competition thing every year. And the winner of that gets to take over the council. So, that's, halfway through the movie, we kind of get, not just, we've already had the strife of, them versus the jocks and whatnot, but yeah, we've got a way that we can kind of defeat them. And, in the old nerd way of using their creativity and their brains, brains of a brawn, essentially.
The whole thing. Did you ever see any of those American Pie Presents movies? American Pie Presents Beta House. It was literally.
I think the only one I saw was the one with Stifler's like kid brother.
Bandcamp thing. Yeah.
Bandcamp, yeah. I saw Bandcamp. I never saw Beta House. No.
Beta House.
Or the Naked Mile. No, I didn't see that.
Basically a ripoff of Revenge of the Nerds.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's very it's when they go to that carnival. I'm like, okay. Beta House ripped this a bit off. But anyway.
No, I figured that. So, they get in with the Lambda organization, which we find out is like a black fraternity. Yeah, no, it's a literally like, we see UN Jefferson's office. It's literally like every, campus kind of around the country is straight up just like a black fraternity, which I imagine, I have this backstory in my head, Richie, that it was like kind of maybe created in like the 50s or 60s as like the black fraternity on each campus during like the civil rights, kind of era and things like that, during like segregation and whatnot. I imagine, they had to have their own fraternity of just all, black students. I have this backstory in my head, and again, it's not outright stated. But the character I get of Ewan Jefferson, the guy who's kind of running the organization, when he goes to the party, and we'll talk about the party scene in a second, but specifically kind of after the party gets ruined by the pigs and the pie, and they mess with them and ruin the party, he gives this look like he sees the alpha betas and like what they're doing to them. And to me, I have in my head that he sees similar things that probably happened to his lambda fraternities, during like segregation, because you can imagine maybe like white fraternities messing with the black fraternities on campus, maybe vandalizing their houses, screwing up their stuff, persecuting, his group. And so he, lets them in because he sees that they're being, persecuted like, his brothers were essentially,
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess technically, I guess the story is they get in on a technicality with the
with the probationary period thing. Yeah, essentially.
But it's also entirely possible that maybe they had it wrong, and then it's just like he's right, but let him in kind of thing. So I definitely see that, and that's probably obviously probably still like friction there. That's probably why they're kind of separate from whatever's going on with there. So I could definitely buy that as a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean they throw this party to kind of impress him to get in, and no, it's a whole, like, the party sequence is one of the best sequences of the movie. Because they, the party's not going very well. The pies, of course, they do a sort of fake out prank where they say they're gonna they come by the house and they sing this little song, and
they come to the house like just as like carolers or something like this. Yeah. And it's like,
they're like, we prefer your high IQs to their great big jocks. They're singing this little thing, but then of course they end up standing him up, at the party, and they don't actually show up. But that's when Judy calls, the Omega Moos, her sorority, which is much more kind of average women, you know what I mean? They're not like the cheerleaders. They're the nerds and the women that don't fit in with the popular people, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So definitely more their vibe. It's I mean, took her a while to bring them up. They could have been hanging out with them the whole, I don't know.
The whole movie. Oh yeah. I mean, they do kind of come in late into the movie, but at least when they come in, like, they make a nice entrance, with them kind of filing into the house, and Booger slowly, like, because at first he's like, no, don't call them moos, they're a bunch of pigs, and like, but then when they show up, he's kind of like, all right, hey. Hey. And they're sweet on him too, and he's kind of get sweet on them. It ends up having a great time with them. The party's not going well until Richie, of course, he brings out the drugs because that makes everything better. Right.
It's like, is it Poindexter? I think Poindexter.
Yeah.
Is it he has a token and immediately starts laughing.
Yeah. Well, he's like, no, nothing. he has like a turning corner moment. The guy, like, assistant dude with Ewan Jefferson, who eventually starts smoking, and he's like, man, this is good shit.
Good shit.
It's like, Ewan's just kind of still standing there sternly. They play Thriller, for Michael Jackson. Everybody's dancing. Poindexter does his dance, which is very funny, where you just see him kind of slowly, like, the legs start kind of bouncing, and he starts like moving his arms, and he starts doing the pelvic thrusting. Like, it's very funny. So the way it's kind of constructed, like him eventually kind of dancing with everybody, and they're having a great time. But yes, those Dastardly Alpha Betas, they let in a bunch of pigs, and then kind of ruin the party, and then they just kind of ruin everything. But that's again when they have this like lingering look on him, where he's kind of looking stern. That's the turning point where he realizes like these guys need somebody, they need backing. they need to fight back.
Before that, I forgot. It was like when they're kind of bored of what to do. They're thing about, we need food. And there's a basic joke that was funny where he's like, we should get out the Toshi. We should get like a lobster claw. And then he goes, what the hell's a lobster claw?
A lobster crawl. Yes, he's making fun of his accent. What the fuck is a lobster crawl? Yes, because earlier in the movie they're playing cards, and he goes, I think I have a frush. And he goes, what the fuck is a frush? Yeah, their interactions are very funny. He doesn't know what pie is when Booger references that, and the rest of the movie he's going, oh, hair pie. She's very funny. He kind of steals the movie. But yes, this is the retaliation section of the movie, Richie, where they're gonna, they've been pranked on, they've been dumped on. Now it's time for the nerds to get creative and fight back. So yes, we get a scene that would probably not fly today, which is the panty raid and installing of the cameras sequence in the movie. I mean, the panty raid thing is like kind of an old school college prank, so I guess that's not like that bad, where they just kind of raid the house and they grab a piece of underwear from the drawer and they run out. You know what I mean? But I think where they take it too far is they literally install surveillance cameras to spy on them in their rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's going a bit. Yeah, you're going but I don't. Other. This is where also other. I think comedies got maybe the was influenced by that. With the you had like I guess like American Pie amped it up with the cameras on the internet and shit.
Oh yeah. The him setting up like the webcam to watch them while they're doing their thing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I don't mean to go back a bit, but I also just forgot a little bit. Yeah. Like when before they work out, you got to go to this council, and then they go to the, I think is it the police, and he goes, I don't know what this world's coming to, and he goes, see that guy over there? He's just been arrested for mopery. And he goes, what the fuck's mopery? He goes, that's when you expose yourself to a blind person.
Yeah, and the guy's like just kind of like covering his face. Yeah, and he's got the classic flasher thing where he's got like the big trench coat jacket, where he clearly was like running around. If you remember Observe and Report, have you seen Observe and Report with Seth Rogen, where the flasher guy has like the same jacket, like running around like opening up the jacket? Oddly enough, the same year as Gremlins, there's a flasher gremlin. Remember in that movie where she turns around and he like opens up his jacket. So I guess that was a thing around the time, like the flasher under the trench coat.
The trench coat.
Yeah. But I was gonna say that the camera stuff from the panty raid, we're in like a post Porky's era. Porky's was 1980. These Porky's movies coming out. Where they, the teenagers spying on the girls in the locker room. It's very like, deviant sex comedy nonsense. For them. I mean, we'll get into a more problematic scene later. Right? The surveillance thing is problematic, but to a degree. But the other one I think is more egregious. We'll get to. Because it's essentially similar to them just kind of spying on them through the wall or something like that. But the one later is way worse. But anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. But they go after the jocks. They put the liquid heat in their jock straps, which is a great slow burn. Not to make a pun, but like a slow burn of a where they're all standing there listening to Goodman. He's making this speech about winning homecoming, winning, you gotta want it, and you see all the guys just slowly kind of start to itch and scratch and like pulling it out, and they're all freaking out, and they one by one they just start running off, and Ogre's the only one left. You gotta want it, I want it, ow. He's like, good, shower up, and he's like, shit, we forgot to practice. Damn. It's just, like I think this movie has better comedic timing than you would think. You know what I mean? And the scripting is funny. Like there's good timing on all the bits. All the performances like really sell everything. Because like it could be a totally throwaway sequence, but I think the way it's staged with like the slow like development of everybody freaking out and Ogre being like the last one standing, I think works like really good. And John Goodman just really playing it straight, like doing this, not noticing everybody running away is very funny.
It's great physical comedy.
Yes.
I appreciate good physical comedy.
Yes.
Very very. I think I grew up on physical comedy with like obviously like Mr. Bean was physical comedy. I grew up on that. Monty Python had a lot of physical comedy in it.
Yeah.
I appreciate this. Was fun.
So they've kind of gotten back. They're into the frat now. They get into the Tri-Lambs officially, but they're not going to get any justice, for all the stuff being done to them, because there's another prank that gets done. They set like a thing on fire, in front of their house that says nerds and all that. So they can't get any justice, and the only way to get justice, Richie, of course, is to get on that Greek council. And we got to win this kind of multi-stage sort of carnival event, with different phases, because you got sort of a sporting event sort of phase, and then you got the charity phase, and then the competition phase. Get the sporting phase, and for my money, like I don't know why it clicks with me so much, Richie, but my money, my favorite scene in the movie, and I can't even really hardly explain why, is the tricycle race scene. I love the way that scene is staged, because not only is it completely insane and absurd in its what the task is, which they have to do this little like tricycle race. And every lap they have to chug a beer. That's 20 beers. That is insane. Not only from like a physical perspective of you would be just completely blackout drunk by the end of that thing, but also like, man, you would be like pissing yourself. Dude, me and Wolfman on these monthly mistakes, right? Like on these things we do on the weekend, man, we drink like sometimes like 5-6 beers, and man, like, dude, I'm pissing at least 3 times before I go to bed. You know what I mean? Like after that show. And like, I guess they got to be wearing a diaper or something. You would have to, right? Like, there's no way you'd be able to hold that in the whole thing, and you would be blackout drunk. But they have a secret, a thing that doesn't actually exist in real life: the trichloromethylene. It counteracts all the alcohol in your system. So they give it to Takashi, who's doing the race. And to me, what makes it is the music. I love the like Japanese music that they're doing. It's like this, and he's so happy when he wins the race. I love this scene. It's so great.
It's done fun and I like it. But you take one about the logistics of it. Like even if I go to like bars and stuff, when you went early, when I was a bit younger, when that was more of a regular thing, I'd make sure to kind of stoke out an area where the bathroom was not that far away, because I know thank you for, I don't know what you just did, but anyway, I'd make sure to like stake out an area that like is close to the bathroom, because I know after a couple I'm gonna break the seal and you have to go back and forth.
Yes.
And so so if I'm like over the other side, I'm like, oh shit. Like I can't imagine like just being having to have 20 beers and not being nowhere near a bathroom. That's nightmare fuel for me.
Yes. And fun fact about the scene, Brian Tochi told me himself, and I think he's told the story before, that he actually, near the end of that sequence when they're kind of carrying him around, as the winner, and he's got that goofy smile on his face, it's because he was actually drunk. Because there was no actual trichloromethylene. The spots where he had to chug the beer, that was real beer. He was actually so he's a little sauced near the end of that scene, for real. So that stuff is fun. They have the belching contest, of course, which we talked about, the burping contest. That Ogre pops off kind of a quick loud one, but Ogre then gives like the most insane exaggerated like like this, like almost like a monster growl kind of a burp. It's pretty epic, which is great. There's a javelin throw where they use their aerodynamics, the limp wristed throw. It's like this floppy jab, but it ends up winning that. Yeah, there's a few little minor ones. There's a Trojan horse thing where they throw Poindexter off very quickly and they can't toss Ogre because he's so gigantic off the damn thing. Like, it is a good cutaway where like they first do Poindexter and they throw him off pretty quickly, and then the music turns. It's like dun 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 dun, and the Ogre's just sitting there, just drinking the beer out of the trophy, just like not even moving as they're trying to like jerk him, and they're kicking it, and just doing all kinds of stuff to try to throw him off. There's the arm wrestling sequence, which is funny, which has a couple of good bits where the nerds are all arm wrestling the pies, the sorority girls, which is funny. And the sorority girls are beating their asses, except for Booger, who picks his nose before he does it, and then pulls her over. And then
I found the quote. I found the quote that I couldn't think of before.
Okay.
It's when Gilbert's bragging about him like meeting, having a girlfriend. And he goes, it's like, big deal. Did you get in her pants? She's like, she's not that kind of girl, Booger. And he's like, why? Does she have a penis?
Yeah, that's the Booger line. Yeah, Booger's very frank in that. Yes, must she have a penis? Yeah, but I was gonna say the punchline of the arm wrestling sequence is funny because they cut then to Ogre, who's arm wrestling one of the Omega Moo girls, and she's kicking his ass, which is right, like just giving him the time of his life in this arm wrestling contest, like one of the bigger girls. And then he just cries at the end of it, even though he wins. He just collapses into tears. So yeah, it's very funny. But yeah, they kind of get through that. The Alpha Betas are in a little bit of a lead, but they're close. They go to the charity competition, and of course, as the crazy, misogynist that they are of the Alpha Betas, they're selling kisses for charity. And if you noticed, it was like, did you notice the pricing on the actual thing, Richie? It was like at all.
No, I didn't. Like, I'm guessing it was like expensive as it was expensive as fuck.
Like $1 is like a peck or something like that. $2 or $3 was like a full lip smooch, and then it was like $5 for tongue, something like that. So for the kisses, so the women are kissing, the jock, Alpha Betas, and the men are kissing, the pies. And yeah, Lewis is in line. He goes up to Betty, who's in the line. She's like, I'm not kissing a nerd. And he's like, you have to. I paid my money. And he pulls out all these tickets. And he bought like $100 worth of tickets. But yeah, Ted McGinley, the dick he is, pulls over the sorority mom, who's a much older lady. She's like, kiss this nerd.
It's wild that they were kind of a thing, the kissing that actual kissing booth.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it is. That's an 80s thing as well, for sure. Yeah, just like
you'd line up to just kiss his voluntarily
to kiss an attractive person. That's what it is, essentially. Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's a
sure
weird idea that you wouldn't pitch now.
Yeah. But the nerds are selling it says eat a pie for charity. Pie is in quotation marks, if you notice. And yeah, what it is, they're selling like they've got the aluminum pie pans, and they've got whipped cream, but under the whipped cream, they've made copies of Betty topless, a picture of her topless under the pie. So they're selling a whole bunch of these, which leads to one of the great, like, just kind of depressed cutaway lines from Ted McGinley, and he has such a great delivery where they finally see like Ogre gets a pie, he scrapes it off, and he's like, he's like, why the hell are they selling so many? This is why. And they cut to him, he looks up at the camera, he just goes, that's my pie. Such a sad voice. His delivery is perfect.
So Curtis Armstrong was like, give me that hairy mouth or something. So
yeah. But that's where we get to the problematic scene, and I guess we have to address it because Lewis and Stan are kind of dressed in a similar sort of, black cape sort of outfit. I think they're both dressed, I think he's supposed to be dressed as like Darth Vader or something, I think, but it's like a cheap, like
think-
shitty like Temu version of Darth Vader. I think.
yeah. Well, it's supposed to be. I think. Well, yeah. I think it's supposed to be that, but I think the other idea is supposed to be, you know, disguise. You know, it's supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah.
His identity but yeah, is hidden. But yeah, I think it is supposed to be. It's supposed to be Darth Vader or this is after Spaceballs, right? I feel like more like
Well, no, this is 84. This is 84, so it's after the trilogy, the Star Wars trilogy. So Star Wars would have been big, at the time. So that makes sense. But the what he's got is like a very generic mask and like a hard hat. I think it's supposed to be Darth Vader, I think, but it's like again, it's like a cheap knockoff, kind of version of it. But whatever. Anyways, the idea is that but they're wearing like similar kind of black cape kind of things, him and Lewis. So yeah, dude sets him down. Betty goes off to the fun house because she says, she wants to go have sex with Stan because she's horny from all the kissing. But Lewis actually disguises himself with the mask and whatnot, and they go to this kind of moonwalk funhouse, and he goes down on her. Just to be frank, which I'm presuming that Stan has either never done that or he's no good at it, Richie.
Yeah.
So, because that's all it takes for Betty to like completely fall in love with him afterwards.
Yeah. It's like, oh my god. Yeah, it's just like that would be although that's not like a good base relationship. Like I don't like I never it's the whole movie. I was never into your personality, but you give good oral sex. So yeah, like that's like that going to be the base of your marriage. It's like, oh, I'll put up with you because you can go down. I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a good line in there, but yeah, essentially the crux of the scene is that he disguises himself. She believes it's Stan. It's obviously not Stan, which is totally a consensual assault, essentially. Yes, which would not fly today for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I guess the writers at the time, it was the mid '80s. It's one of those things where you just kind of have to throw your arms up and be like, well, it's a product of the times that just wouldn't fly today. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. And to be fair, even the director and the writer come out and said, yeah, like definitely if we made this movie today, obviously that scene would not be in there. Like it's not.
Yeah.
We just were kind of stupid about that at the time. We just didn't take it seriously. So
they've come up with they've come up with that scene wouldn't be right. They'd come up with like she'd probably just it was made today. She'd probably just. Because that's what I thought was happening. I thought she would just probably, because she was getting. There's signs that she was having, even when the club they got the new clubhouse, she was complimenting them like, oh, they're coming good, that's coming along well. So no, whatever. Yeah.
No, and she is treating like garbage throughout the movie for sure. He's like telling her to like shut up or whatever. He's just kind of treating her like a piece of meat throughout the movie. So to be fair. Yeah, she's
and probably, but you think that like maybe if they did a remake, that she would just stand up for herself and go, these guys are nice, and I'm going to go with him, not like, and then they get together because imagine like telling that story. I feel like so this is crazy, right? So I was because I thought my ex was going down on me. Turns out it was his nerd. Well, and now we've been together ever since. That sounds hot. Did you report him?
No, I didn't report him. It was all okay, Richie, because she enjoyed it. That's why. So it's totally not fly today, which is terrible logic, of course. I'm not condoning that, but So, but he does have a good line though. There is some good like right where she's like, "Are all nerds this good?" And he goes, "Yes." So he's at least standing up for the other nerds. And he's like, "Well," and she's like, "Well, how?" And he's like, "Well, because all jocks think about is sports. So all nerds ever think about is sex." So, which makes sense. Sure, I can think of that logic.
I probably, it's okay logic. I don't know if it doesn't work in practice, but I get where it's coming from.
Yeah. So we get the final leg of the competition, which is this like kind of music slash kind of skit sort of competition. So there's like a row your boat for its frat called row RHO. So they do this little kind of thing. There's these two terrible guys trying to do stand up, which I'm sure like Richie. I don't know if it like you being kind of a part-time stand-up comic, man. These guys are just doing really bad like dad jokes. It's terrible. Where he's just like what did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on an ant? Dead ant. Dead ant. Boo.
I would generally laugh at that, but ironically, I laugh.
See, if there was a comic today that did shit like that on like the Kill Tony podcast, he'd probably get a laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a guy like doing that kind of delivery would probably actually make those guys laugh, but it would be in like a hipster ironic way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I've laughed at those things in like a. But like in like, oh, this is a car crash. But this is if I don't laugh, then I'm gonna cringe. So I'm just gonna. But sometimes it's quite like the jokes are so, or it's just not hitting with the crowd, and then like the comics are up the back laughing and I suck because it's kind of so awkward. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I don't know. In the right circumstance, that could work. But yeah, probably I don't know. If it's the right guy, but this is probably. If a guy like him came to the company, did that, I probably I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I have seen worse. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. The alphas and the pies do sort of a football sketch where the jocks are dressed up like the cheerleaders and the cheerleaders are dressed up like the football players. They do a little kind of song and dance. Then the nerds, set up some fireworks. They get everybody over there. And again, they put their creativity to good use where they've got kind of they're kind of dubbing over these things where Poindexter's, playing this sort of riff on the violin that's obviously played over the speakers. Booger's dressed up like Elvis, kind of playing an electric guitar. Takashi's like hitting these gongs, and then Lamar like kind of does a rap breakdance kind of back and forth, and then Worms are kind of joins in for it. Gilbert and Lewis, I like their little kind of dueling soundboard sort of robotic sort of things. It's fun. They played this very creative kind of this song, and they win the competition, and then they fucking kill it. So what'd you think of the competition though? It's pretty fun. Creativity.
Yeah, it was good creativity and it was good. It's good sort of crescendo. No, it was a fun way. It was a fun way to end on, I thought. So it was creative and I enjoyed it, and good way to cap off the movie.
Because it's not quite the end scene, even though it kind of feels like it, because the jocks are pissed off. John Goodman gets them fired up in the locker room, to kind of take one sort of final retaliation. They go and trash the house. And Gilbert finally just kind of snaps and gets pissed off, and he runs off to go confront him. There's like a pep rally going on where it's the pep rally before homecoming, before the homecoming football game. He goes, they toss Gilbert in the fountain. Fun fact about this, that night they filmed this, it was like freezing cold outside, like very, very cold. And you can see Anthony Edwards in that sequence. If you watch him when he's doing, after he gets tossed and he's wet and everything, you can see like the breath coming out of his mouth. And he's like barely kind of getting through his lines because he's like trying not to shiver so hard. It was freezing that night, and he was like completely soaking wet. They're about to, he tries to take the mic to kind of make a speech, and they grab him. They're gonna like kind of beat him up again, and then Bernie Casey comes back in. Ewan Jefferson comes back in with one of the great point and stares I've ever seen in a movie to this day. It's amazing, just the death stare he gives him while he's just like holding this like point at him, and he's just like, hold it right there, coach. And then they hit this awesome bass line where it's like doom 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 doom, and he brings in like a row of basically, there's no other way to put it, intimidating black men.
Kind of like a warrior style, but they're all
Yeah, no, they all walk in. They're obviously like other lambda like fraternity guys. I'm assuming they look like football players or something. They're huge, you know what I mean? I'm assuming. But they got like the most stone-faced, intimidating dudes on the planet who just look pissed off, just staring them down. And you know, the alphas want no part of it, essentially. It's very funny. But yeah, it's one of my favorite moments of the movie. Just the point and stare with the baseline is great. I think it's
like the again, it's probably seems about the whole like because obviously like exploitation was a big thing too. So it really proves the kind of the guitar from like something, you know, the Action Jackson and all those sort of
yeah, right. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, they make a speech about you know, that he's a nerd and he's proud of it, and you know, we have news for everybody that there's more of us nerds than there are of you people out there. And it's one of those kind of rousing moments where it's like, you know, come up here and join us if you've ever been, you know, called a nerd or you've ever been picked on or put down. And it's, you know, basically everybody, you know, at the pep rally. And then they play, of course, it was hot at the time. You got to play Queen's "We Are the Champions," Richie. The champions. So, and that's basically it. And then you get the classic 80s credits where they show each person, you know, with the credit, which I kind of miss to this day. I wish they would kind of bring that back, honestly.
Yeah, they do it sometimes. They do it occasionally, but not often. Yeah.
It's usually in like a movie that's like a throwback to the 80s or something, like some kind of nostalgia piece, you know, they'll do it. But yeah, they don't really do that anymore. I kind of miss it.
Well, if it's a biopic, they'll just do that thing and then side by side with the actual person. But then
yeah, with the real picture or whatever. Yeah.
But it'd be kind of cool. But on the off occasion, they do it. But I mean, maybe it was different, but I feel like some of the budget for this film must have gone to the rights to get like, so they had Queen, which is one of the biggest bands of all time, and also had Michael Jackson's Thriller.
No, that couldn't have been cheap at the time unless Richie, they were so close to the actual like them being released that maybe they weren't expensive yet, because this is 84 and I believe the Thriller album was released in like 83 or 84, like around the same time. So maybe, I don't know if this is like the first movie to ever use it. It might be, I'm not sure. But it might be close to it. Same with We Are the Champions. We Are the Champions really didn't become a big thing in movies till like the 90s, like I have to think, you know. So this might have been one of the first movies to ever use that. So I can only assume maybe they were possibly the first movies they'd ever been in, so maybe they weren't as expensive at the time. Maybe.
Yeah. Because I was like, I remember thinking, man, like he tried to, he had only like a few movies would be able to put a Michael Jackson and a Queen song in the same movie.
I was trying to Google it real quick if I could find that. Yeah, no, I know the Thriller is like a video. I know that. I'm trying to figure out which movie was first. It might be because Thriller came out in 83. This came out in 84. So this is like right after. This might be the first movie to actually use the song, possibly. It's very. Let me see when Queen's "We Are the Champions." Let me see when that actually was released. So that's 77, but I can't see it being used in a lot of movies. The ones I remember are from like the 90s, so this might have been an early one as well for that. Yeah, maybe.
It was used in Mighty Ducks, right? That's the first time.
Yeah, they use it in Mighty Ducks. I want to see. Yeah, there's one or two other movies I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but yeah, it's for sure used in Mighty Ducks. Definitely.
That's why in Australia and New Zealand it's called Champions.
Champions, yeah. So yeah, any other moments or lines from the movie you appreciated or whatever before we kind of hear final thoughts?
Well, I think I'll probably think more of later, but like there's definitely it's definitely one that you pick up. I think it's a movie that you pick up lines out, you know, more times rewatch, but it's it was a good time. It was really fun. I did get the vibe sometimes with Booger that he wouldn't. I wouldn't say he'd be in like outcast as a nerd, but he'd probably be just sort of treated like a kind of a meh kind of guy if he didn't if he just stopped the nose picking habit because he wasn't as much of like a like full on I don't know, full on like no, just social, like like the other ones, but other people. But yeah, there was that one scene where, how I always have that gripe about it's more on TV shows where they they type stuff on the computer and like shit pops up.
Oh, when Gilbert is like making the animation with the girl. Yeah, it's never made sense to me. Like, what is he typing to make a full-on dancing animation? Yeah, that's not realistic at all.
What computer programs you on? What's happening?
Yeah, no, it's almost like hacking scenes in movies. Yeah, what exactly are they typing to like hack into the system?
Yeah.
No, 100%. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just kind of have to just let it go. It just is what it is. But it was early computers, so they're using a computer, and they're always talking about how Adams College has one of the great computer divisions in the country. Like it's one of the only colleges that has like a computer lab, essentially, because it's very early, like kind of Apple type stuff from like the 80s. Yeah.
But yeah, it did give me something like throwback from when I had a computer that big, and then I'd play on floppy disks like Doom and Quake and legit.
We were talking about I was on with Ryan Permerson on his channel the other day, and we were doing an anniversary watch along to the OG Mission Impossible, Richie, from '96, and of course that was like the explosion of like around that same time of like the internet, like the net with Sandra Bullock and hackers and like movies like this, where the internet was like, oh my god, the internet, the net, like this crazy thing, and I was like, and they were also just using the whole sequence of when he's doing the hanging thing and the the heist in the middle of the movie, right, where he's hanging from the wires, he's copying files to a floppy disk, and I'm like, if somebody watched that now, like a teenager watched that movie now, are they gonna know what the fuck he's using? Like like even to a degree, like this giant computer with like a floppy disk, are they gonna know what that is? Like honestly,
like people that don't even it's because these guys don't even know what a cassette tape is. Little,
or I mean, because you go back and you watch, like, they'll know what vinyls are because vinyls have come back, right? Like you watch this movie and they're playing vinyls at the party. Vinyls have made a comeback, so I think kids nowadays will know what vinyls are because they're sold even in like Taylor Swift has vinyl albums. You know what I mean? Like they're a thing. So they made a comeback. But yeah, like cassettes or 8-tracks or VHS tapes. Yeah, for sure. Like I've seen even reaction videos where they put like a tape and a rewinder in front of the kid, tell them to like play it, shit like that. Cartridge video games, things like that. But like definitely floppy disks and like a computer with a floppy disk drive. I don't know about that, they would know what to do with that. Yeah.
And it like the idea that you'd have to, like, because of the computers back then, you have to wait ages for it to just copy over.
Well, I might as well, go to bed and maybe it'll be ready in the morning if I'm lucky.
Even back in like the mid 2000s, I remember like, like when you legally download, like, when you had like LimeWire or Kazaa or something, like, oh yeah, all right, well I might as well go to school. Hopefully that song will download by the time.
Yeah, I know. You try to do like a whole, a whole CD, like a whole album off of LimeWire, and it'll be like your thing will be ready in 6 hours. All right, well, I might as well, just do something else for the afternoon. Okay, yeah, no, I remember this. And then you didn't even know if the file was good until you download it, and then you play it, and it's all scratchy and weird.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, on the off occasion you go, oh cool, it's ready, and you click it, it's the wrong thing. Like, fuck, no,
God damn it, no! I just wasted 3 hours downloading that song. Yeah, no, we can definitely relate to that. I have my LimeWire days where I was making big CDs off of LimeWire for sure.
Yeah,
yeah, those are the days, man. So, but yeah, getting back to the movie. No, again, I've said it. It's one of my favorite comedies. Yeah, again, I probably saw it a little too early, but to be fair, I think I actually used to see the movie on cable first, like on Comedy Central, where they edited out kind of all the, the nude scenes and whatnot, and just kind of kept, sort of the regular stuff. And the movies, other than the nude scenes, the movie's fairly tame for the most part, other than those sequences. I mean, it really like, almost plays like a PG or PG-13 movie other than that, so like if you took, just edited around that, you could play it for like an early teenager and it wouldn't be that bad. Overall, you would lose, a couple of minutes of sequences here and there, but yeah, the rest of the sequences are kind of pretty lighthearted for the most part.
Yeah.
Thing, but yeah, I finally saw it on VHS. We had it for a long time on there, and yeah, it's just one I've always kind of clicked with. The movie's really fast paced too. I always forget how quick we get to the carnival sequence. Like the movie's like 90 minutes. It's a fast 90 minutes, man. This movie flies by. Like I couldn't believe, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my god, the movie's like we're in the third act already. Holy shit! Like, yeah, it's a very quick, breezy movie. Good characters. Everybody has a unique personality and unique characteristics. You know them all by the end of the movie. So there's a lot of people and things going on, but I never feel like you kind of lose track of who's who. And yeah, it's a very simplistic story. It's the nerds versus the jocks. Like it's a tale as old as time. But I think it's kind of done to perfection. All the bits are really funny throughout the whole thing. I think the comedy holds up for the most part. All the actors perfectly kind of portray their characters. It's just a fun time, man. It's always just one I felt was really entertaining.
Yeah, and I think that. I mean, I feel like this movie is, like I said, inspired a lot of things. Like, with even like one of my favorite games is, I don't know if you ever played Bully from Rockstar Games. That game rules. But that definitely got inspired by Revenge of the Nerds here. I think everyone loves wants to. I think it's just a human thing. You want to champion the, sort of the oppressed underdog against these bullying sort of, people who've got power. So I think that's always going to work, especially in the vein of comedy. So yeah, and I think it's just it works to a T here, and it's really good. It's really fun. It'll be a more regular rotation now that I've had a refresher. So. Yeah, it's fun. Hopefully, at some point, it will come on. It will at least, if not my on Australian Netflix, it will be on other Netflix, and it'll be more really bad. Or I'll just buy the Blu-ray probably. Or a bit okay. It definitely is gonna be more. Regular viewing for me as well, because I had fun with this.
Yeah, for sure. No, so I'm glad you had a good rewatch. Yeah, it's always one where like I didn't even have to really rewatch this movie. It's burned into my brain. I know this movie line for line, scene for scene. So but I watched it anyways because I love it. So if you haven't gone back and watched Revenge of the Nerds, please do so. Robert Carradine, yes, specifically, he's very good as Lewis, and yeah, he definitely kind of carries the movie. And he's a lot of fun. So Revenge of the Nerds, really fun 80s comedy. A few outdated things here and there, a few things that wouldn't fly, but still, a fun comedy overall. But it doesn't take things too seriously. You know what I mean? Like even in those sentences, it's not taken, as like life or death situation. So it's fine. And it's fiction. It's fiction. It's fine. What it is.
Yeah, I feel like if you can go through like any 80s comedy, and you'll find. You'll always find things that wouldn't fly today. Just it's a sign of time sort of thing. There'll be movies like we'll look back on movies from now like 10 years ago. Oh, that wouldn't fly today. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, as John Tron would say, I think I have the clip over here.
That one didn't age quite so well.
So just a little John Tron in there for the end, but we'll wrap it up there. And Richie, what you got going on? I know JPO's bugging us on the comments. I know we're going to talk some wrestling very soon. I promise we're getting there. We were paying tribute to Robert Carradine, so sorry we went a little long. And Richie forgot I had daylight savings time, so it's actually his fault. He was like 10 minutes late getting on here. So
my bad. Send your angry letter to me. But when we do get on Lonely Monks, which we said, we'll be breaking down the upcoming Revolution pay-per-view, which looks like a stacked show. Putting an undercard, which got a couple of people pulling double duty, which I've noticed. and and talk about all the news, fantasy. Um, I'll be honest. I thought it was. I'm going to say it was a good thing. I have drafted both Grande Americanas. That helps me on Raw. So, but yeah, no, there's talk about that. And then Tom Feist here rank. Sometimes I'll be on the long time first time on this. It's coming tomorrow. I believe. Probably took more of it than maybe, and other stuff I've seen, in recent times as well. And yeah, all good.
Sounds good. Yeah, and I'll plug our next episode here. We'll come back in 2 weeks. We actually did have Jordan Anderson spin the wheel recently, so we actually will be getting back to the wheel in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking Parasite, the Bong Joon-ho movie, which, funny enough, I'll be able to see in a theater next week as part of Regal's Oscar series. So my rewatch will get to be in a theater, so that'll be fun. So I'll get that done. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with that. You can find me over on the Movie Hero Network, co-hosting or hosting lots of stuff. Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. I'll drop a link in the Movie Hero Network Facebook group so you can find us over there. Come hang out with us and talk some wrestling. And I'll be on Ryan Permison's channel, and I quote most of the month, talking several Mission Impossible movies and doing watch along. So we'll wrap it up there, and we'll take a quick break, and you can meet us all over on the Lonely Marks. So let's wrap it up there. So for Richie, for Austin Pez Howell, R.I.P. to Robert Carradine. We'll see you guys next time on Wheel of Movies. Bye.